Good morning. Great morning, wonderful morning, spectacular morning, outstanding morning, beautiful morning. Yes. Again, the beautiful reminder of choice that you have, I have, that we all have for every moment of our lives. Now, think about that. Every moment, not just some moment, every moment. And within every one of these moments, and here's one. Oh, here's another one. Here's another one. Here's another one. See, within every one of them, we get to choose how we're going to think, what we're going to make things mean. And it's with that choice, of which is the only choice that you have, which is over your thoughts, you can shift your vibratory state, which will then lead you to different outcomes. Now, think about that. Your vibratory state, your feeling, that is the secret. And that's what is the attractive force in your life. If you want to change how much you earn, what you do for work, your lifestyle, all of that, that's what you've got to shift first. You've got to shift how you're feeling, which is caused by how you're thinking. It's exactly as what Robert Collier shared in Secret of the Ages. The secret of all power, all success, all riches is in first thinking powerful thoughts, successful thoughts, thoughts of wealth, of supply. We must build it in our own mind first. That's where it's at. That's where it's always been. That's where it is right now. And that's where it's always going to be. And that's what we have learned about ourselves throughout our lessons in life. And I'm talking specifically about Dolly and I. Both of us, we had this yearning to understand more about who we were and how our minds worked, and which led us to study from the wonderful Bob Proctor. He was talking about some really crazy things like paradigms, the stick person, how thoughts are things. And it was so intriguing to us. It drew us to him because we were seeking that. And what's beautiful is we became consultants and started to use it a lot in our lives, which led to some wonderful change, wonderful experiences, which then led us to where we are here today in Elevitality. We created this beautiful platform, this container to help people to understand it themselves. And that's what led to some other wonderful things like this beautiful gem here. There's no such thing as self-sabotage. And this right here is a liberator. Those of you who have read it, you know what I'm talking about. Help you see, oh my God, I'm not the problem. I've never been the problem. I'm not my own way. I'm not self-sabotaging. The self-sabotage is a bunch of bullshit. And then with that liberation, we put into play what we call emergence, which is the implementer, which is what is there in an organized fashion to help you to use this information so that you think this way. And it's been beautiful to see. It's made a huge effect on our lives and a huge effect on other people's lives who have been using it. Remember, that's where it's at. What's the golden rule? Application, baby. You don't use it, forget it. You're not going to deliver change in your life. Now, what have we been studying? We've been studying this beautiful gem here, As a Man Thinketh, Out from the Heart. If you don't have a copy of this, make sure that you do get a copy of this. And when you do get it, yes, read it. Yes, memorize it. Yes, underline it. Yes, highlight it. But most importantly, above all of that, use it in your life. Remember, the words within this book have no power in and of itself. The words that I shared with you have no power in and of itself. The only way it has power is when it's applied. When it's applied, a shift in your vibratory state will happen, which then means your results will change. See, there it is again, application, baby. So use it and use it as if your life depends on it. You know why? Because it does. All right, so type in the comments, I'm ready if you're ready. Type in the comments, I'm ready. I'm ready. And so let's go into this and jump into this wonderful, wonderful piece of work. Here we go. Boom. Now, we went over this yesterday towards the end of the session, and we're going to go over it again because it has everything to do with you changing the results of your life. And remember, when I'm talking about results, I'm talking about outcomes. There are many people who are watching this right now. You, you're wanting to make a big change in your life. You're wanting to earn more, but you've been frustrated. You've studied the books, you've taken the courses, you've gone to the webinars, the seminars, you've even come to calls like this, but for some reason, it's not changing. Why? Well, we talk about why, and you can trace it down to implementation. With that being said, it's happening inside. It's because what's happening inside has not been changed effectively. So what does he say here? He said, and by the way, the page for this is page 49, if you have this copy of the book, okay? Okay, he says, it in this power of mind to reform, to form and reform its habits, its conditions, is contained the basis of man's salvation. And the door to perfect liberty by the master of self. For as a man has the power to form harmful habits, so has he the same power to create habits that are essentially good. Now think about that. When you think about habits, they were formed, they were shaped. If you have bad habits, you can change them into good ones. Actually, let me rephrase that. That's not the correct statement. If you have bad habits, you can get rid of those bad habits and replace them with good ones. See, that's more accurate. You can't change them. You can't morph them into something else because they are what they are. But you can get rid of them and replace them. So again, let's all type in the comments, people form habits, habits form futures. Now, habits, as I've talked about many times, are wonderful. They are magnificent. They are incredible. Think about how difficult your life would be if you didn't have this ability to form or change habits. And in terms of habits, the way I look at habits are they are God's gift to me to make my life easy. Think about that for you. Habits are God's gift to you to make your life easy. When you drive a car, if you have to turn right, you don't think about, oh, I must turn the steering wheel right in order to go right. No, you just automatically go like this steering wheel because of pattern in your mind that's been created there about driving and turning right. Same thing as putting your gas on the pedal to accelerate. You don't think about putting your foot on the pedal to make you move. You automatically do it. Why? Because there's a habit there. Now think about that. The issue is not about whether or not habits are great and wonderful. They are. The issue is that we have habits that are not in harmony with how we would love our life to be. Now, with this, again, he's pointing out in this power of mind to form and reform its habits, in this power of your mind for you to form and reform your habits, its conditions is contained the basis of man's salvation, is contained the basis of your salvation. And the open door to perfect liberty by the mastery of self. And again, why? Because for as a man has the power to form harmful habits, so he has the same power to create habits that are essentially good. For as you have the power to form harmful habits, so do you have the same power to create habits that are essentially good. Think about that. Remember, you can think what you please. You can think whatever you want to think. Your greatest power is your agency. The ability to act or be acted upon, to accept, reject ideas, to originate ideas. And through the will, by holding the image of the new idea again and again and again and again, what do you form? You form the habit of thinking that way, which then leads to the life. And then he points out, and here we come to a point which needs some elucidating and which calls for deep and earnest thought on my part of the reader. Now let's get into this next part, because this next part is so good. And it's something that when I saw it, I was going, oh my gosh, that's it. But before we go into this, for those of you who are watching this live stream and are wanting to know exactly what I'm talking about, would love to watch the remainder of these live calls and the replays, because every one of these calls is recorded, then do yourself a favor and stop thinking about it and go to Elevitality instead and register for Master Your Mind. You will thank yourself later. Big time. All right, so now let's go into this